Okay, okay, everyone, we just got a few minutes after 12. We're going to try to start on time, please. Welcome to everyone today. This is our first official Lunch and Learn that we're doing the live streaming. So I not only want to welcome a packed room full of people, but we also have 8 people at Olympic Place. We have 14 people down at Union Plaza. We have 8 people at France and 6 at International. So besides the people in this group, it's our Lunch and Learn where we've had the biggest crowd of over 60 people. So how great is that? We're sharing ideas, but we got you all individual pizzas, so I hope that works for all of you. You don't have to have a virtual pizza lunch. I'm especially proud today to introduce a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of OffiCenters, someone that we see in the centers all of the time. I think that you know how this all works. We're going to be giving our speaker today about 30 to 40 minutes, and then we'll have an opportunity for everyone to ask questions, and that means everybody in all of the different locations. And then this is also going to be available for people to see and deliver on demand as they need it to. So we're going to be able to do some training price, right? No, that's just going to be free for all of our OffiCenter and virtual OffiCenters community. Today our speaker is Cathy, who's going to help you unleash that inner rock star. And she's been with her company RockPaperStar for the last 8 years, coaches and markets for select authors, promotes unique speakers to national status. She has founded, launched, and sold 3 companies, Paper Plus Recycling, Jumpstart Results, and Live Dynamite, and launched dozens of products and national bestsellers. Her quick wit and competitive spirit, and I know firsthand about your competitive spirit, makes her a trusted advisor and repeat creative force for companies, individuals, and associations such as Best Buy, Paramount Studios, Ameriprise, Harvey Mackay's New York Times bestseller author. He's the author of Swim with the Sharks. You know that he is one of Cathy's greatest clients. And Rick Riley Hayes, the University of Minnesota Carlson School. Cathy, I feel like somebody's missing off this paper. That could be me, because you've been my personal coach as we've gone through the virtual OffiCenter product and our rebranding. And don't think that when you're in year 20 or 25 of business that you don't need a coach. There are people who are surprised by that. But as time goes on, you've got a lot of energy and stuff in the early years. It's the later years when you want to reinvent and do some other kinds of things that coaching has made a huge difference in my business. Look at where we are today.
A little shout out. I feel a little shout out. Make sure the other centers are doing something.
Yes, Cathy serves on the board of Data 360, Quest for College. She's the 2013 winner of the National Association of Women Business Owners Vision Award and a recent winner of the Minnesota Business Magazine's Real Power 50. And I think she was instrumental in why I got to be a Real Power 50 member this year, right? 2015. Fun facts, Cathy was the Minnesota High School State Tennis Doubles Championship, and she was voted MVP, All New England in women's rugby. And it says you haven't taught your children all the rugby songs, and I'm not sure that that's not a good thing. Here she is, our friend, Cathy.
So when they tell you, like, what are some things that people will remember about you? For years, I never told people that I played rugby in college because I was always worried that if, like, a confrontation came up, I might jump out and tackle somebody, you know. So now I tell people, and then I try to talk about all the songs and all the fun that we had playing rugby. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to all the centers. I have to alert the centers. They don't have their handouts possibly in order, but you should have in front of you a handout that has a pyramid on it, and then there are a few sheets behind it that we're going to try to go through today. If you're not here for the Build the Buzz or the pizza, then you're in the wrong room, or you need to, you know, do whatever, but we're going to go through a lot of material. It could take somebody 3 months to go through everything that we've experienced through book launches and helping authors. I want to hit on a couple of highlights. And I also ask all of you to just think for a minute of kind of, why are you here? You know, what are you hoping to accomplish? So I know I've spoken to a few people, and it's really nice to see familiar faces in the room today, of why are you here? What do you hope to walk away with? How can I make this hour the most impactful for you? And I just would love to hear from one or two people. What do you want to accomplish today in terms of build your buzz? Why'd you give up 60 minutes of your time?
I'm here for one reason, is a meetup situation or marketing situation. And I represent a company called Hard Money LLC. Been in business 9 years. And I assume that most of these people are either in business for themselves or starting a business, and we have money to loan on a 1-year basis. Been in business 9 years. And I'd like to introduce our company, give you a card.
We can do that at the end too. There'll be plenty of time for networking at the end.
Okay.
Perfect. So you're here to make sure everybody knows about your business, Hard Money LLC, that's been in business for 9 years. And what's your name?
What a memory, Howard Smith.
Howard. All right, thank you. We'll cover that at the end. Anybody else? What do you want to learn about building your buzz and marketing and some of the resources?
What's the most effective way of getting that buzz started?
Okay, great. Most effective way of getting your buzz started. So we're going to do a little quiz first at the start to warm up, a little quick quiz. There's no wrong answers, okay? And feel free during this, if you need more pizza, help yourself. Those of you on the virtual camera, if I can't see you eating, it's fine. Take a look at these 4 people and think about, what do you remember about them, or what do you know about them? And maybe jot down a little something about what is it that you know. And if you don't know the other people, okay, I'll give you a little Lindsay Lohan, Bobby Knight, Beyonce, married to Jay-Z, and Bill Gates, okay? All right, so what do you remember about them being memorable? And now take a minute, turn to the person next to you, talk about one of those pictures, and also what is 1 or 2 things that you think you're known for? So Lori is known for OffiCenters, virtual OffiCenter connections, being really collaborative. Deirdre is known for speaking, social media, technology, connections. What are you known for? So take 30 seconds, just talk to the person next to yourself, and if you want to, go back and what do you know about these people?
Okay, so you
Drugs.
money.
Yeah. You gotta sneak it by. You're known for your
So what are you known for?
Those are really
Howard and Mel, talk to each other. Talk to Howard for a second. And you can tell the centers they can report in.
Centers, feel free to report in on anything, connections, comments, suggestions.
Okay. Who's got the whistle in the room? Somebody's always got the whistle in the room. You got it? Okay, there's always one in every room. So we could do this for a really long time, and it's the part that I love about networking and connections and helping build people out. But you have a split second to make an impression on somebody. You have 1, 2, maybe 3 words for them to remember what it is that you do and why should they remember you. And same with the other people that are in your network. So if you talked for a really long time to tell somebody what you did, more than 3 sentences, you need to work a little bit on, do you have some impactful words that people will walk away and remember? So this model and framework up here, I work with speakers and authors and business owners all over the country. And we start when we're building a brand, thinking about the three ways.
You work with them internationally.
Jim, thank you. Jim, to clarify, Jim and I were on a conference call this morning in India with a wonderful woman named Abba. And so Jim should have told me he was going to be here at lunch, but we were talking at 7 this morning. So yes, I work with people internationally. And it's been really interesting to develop that expertise. But what we do is think about speaker, book, and product. That's how somebody transforms their expertise. So maybe they speak, maybe they write a book, they blog. You as a business owner, what are you doing to reach out to have other people know what you're about? You can't do all of these at once, but you can be really strategic about thinking about how are you going to build your buzz? What are you going to do? Maybe you're offering a workshop. You know, one of the ways Lori has really developed this center that I do love, and I will change my bio right away because I'm grateful to you as a client and grateful for what OffiCenter has done for me. And my buzz for my business is creating these workshops and connection places where we can all come together and then go out and say, hey, we had a great pizza lunch. We heard a speaker. We learned all this. We met Howard. We met Jim. We met all these people and talked about that. That's how you start building buzz. So we're going to go through a few of these. I just wanted you to see this framework to get started. But what you've got today here, and again, I'm going to work you a little bit in the time that we have, because I believe that you'll learn more as we think about this. What's your big picture? What do you want? Do you want to be known so that you can grow your business? Do you want to be known so you can hire better people? Why do you want to be memorable? Why do you want anybody to know about your business? What's driving it for you? What is that big picture goal? So I see people where they say, you know what, I really want to have LinkedIn. I want to have 500 contacts. Well, why do you want to have 500 contacts? This is not a friend collection. You know, what are you doing it for? Why do you want to be on Facebook? Well, someone told me I should. Well, does it have anything to do with your business? Does it have anything to do with how you want to show up and what you want people to know about you? So I say be really strategic about why are you here to build your buzz? Do you think it will be good for you to have 10 more people that know what you do so that when they have lunch with somebody, they know what you do? So for me, every time somebody hears the word book, I want them to say, you should talk to Cathy Paper. She'll help you promote your book. Or anytime they hear that somebody needs a training program, they say, oh, you should talk to Cathy Paper. RockPaperStar designed some really great training programs. What is your big picture? So jot something down. Why are you here? What are you thinking about? If you don't know, don't worry. You can fill it out later. But I recommend you pick one. Even if your big picture is, you know what? I'd really like to meet 5 more people. How do I do that? So jot that down on here because we're going to focus what your goals are. Because when people come to me and say they want to start working with me, often they'll say, okay, I'm thinking I'm going to write a book or I wrote a book. And they want to sell more of those books. And they're not quite sure how to do it. Or they say, you know, I've thought about doing some speaking. I think that I could be a really effective speaker. I have something really interesting to share because I've experienced X in my lifetime. I'd like to do that. Or maybe they just want to build their network. I see a lot of people that say, how did you grow your network? How do you walk into a room and talk to people? Maybe you want to develop your networking skills. Could be any of these things on here. Maybe you just want one article. You want to be featured in the business journal. How does that happen? What is that specific goal? And pick one thing. So it doesn't have to be, you know, I have a client, she's in Portland, Oregon, and she wants to do a lot more blogging. She's a content provider. And her goals are so laser specific of which publications she wants to be a writer in. And she knows exactly who she needs to follow and track. So what is that goal that you're thinking about? And write it down so that maybe you say, you know what, in the next 6 months, I want to be writing a guest blog somewhere in the Twin Cities or somewhere on the internet. What is one of your goals? I want to meet 5 more people. So that you can put that goal down and actually start working towards it to build that buzz that it goes along. So Harvey McKay, who, as Lori said, he's one of my flagship clients. Anybody read him in the Star Tribune? Okay, great, good head nods. Feel free to write into the Star Tribune. Tell them that you enjoy the column because having real estate in the newspaper is no small task to get that kind of visibility. So if you like it, write in and let them know that you enjoy it. When Harvey first started to write this book, Swim with the Sharks, 25 years ago, it was titled Prepare to Win. Okay? I see a lot of head nods a lot. Paul's falling asleep with that. That's a snooze. So he knew, how do I become memorable? What do I do so that people will remember Swim with the Sharks? So if your elevator speech or the name of your company or how you're introducing yourself is ho-hum, think again about spending some time with people to come up with some language so that it will be memorable. Work virtually anywhere under the sun. I think you came up with that at the very beginning, Lori, for office centers and virtual office centers, didn't you?
I think so.
I think that Lori is visionary on this. She had that idea before she had all the other pieces around it. And it's a powerful way. So what is your specific goal? His goal was to be a New York Times bestseller. How is he going to do that? Putting your goal out in front of you. If anybody's done a goal setting course, you want to think about what's your goal. Putting out the specific on there, to be a New York Times bestseller, to be on the Wall Street Journal bestseller. I could go through 220 tactics that we have to help speakers and authors become a bestseller, but the same skill can be applied to building your own buzz and being memorable. What are you doing day in and day out? Is your tagline at the bottom of your email signature? Do you tell people what you do there? In your LinkedIn, is it easy for somebody to contact you, to figure out, how do I meet you? How do I connect with you? Have you Googled yourself? Everybody Googled themselves? Okay. So have you Googled yourself and really studied who else shows up in here? Who else are people also searching for? What are they looking for? How's your Wikipedia? Wikipedia has some of the best search engine optimization of anything. And is your Wikipedia page doing you and your business the justice that it could? Totally overlooked by a lot of people. But because of its search, it's really high on there. So I look at these numbers to say I search for sales books. I have 398,000 things that I'm competing with to have him try to be up at the top. So what are we doing? I also know when I looked at what do people also search for, it bothered me that there were all guys on there. So we have several people in the room that are writing a book. Pam Borden, all right. Give her a round of applause if you haven't met Pam and Team Women. She's working on her book. Louise Griffith, published author, all right. Deirdre, published author. Any other published authors in the room? Okay, well, a few more of you maybe will come along. What else is going on? Who are your competitors? You can learn a lot about how did they build their buzz. What are they doing? Okay. So what are you going to do? Use your best assets. One of my clients is Joe Sweeney. He's from Milwaukee, and he wrote this book on networking and came to me when it was a bestseller, and he wanted to develop it into a training product and build more of an educational model around it. And he had this photo of he and Brett Favre. He was Brett Favre's very first agent to help Brett develop promotional opportunities off the field. And he had this picture of him running with him. And he said, well, I don't really want to talk about Brett. I wrote about him in the book, and, I helped network him into some treatment programs, and I don't think I need to talk about him so much. And I said, you know what? No one knows who Joe Sweeney is. Everyone knows who Brett Favre is. You're going to need to show that picture and talk about how you use your networking skills and your natural gifts to get that business, because that will give you credibility. So are you using your best assets? Are you talking about those things that you've done? How many people have you helped at trade shows to develop their visibility? What are the things that you're doing? So take a minute, I'd say, and just write down, what do you think are your best assets? What's one or two things that maybe you've forgotten that you really did successfully? Paul's been involved. He's a private investigator and corporate investigator and was involved in the 35W bridge collapse. There aren't very many people that can say they investigated that. That's a huge deal. So what are you saying there? So jot down for a minute. Tell the person next to you too after you jot it down.
You can try it. Flip it off, but.
Oh my God. Okay, so just because this is Minnesota, do not be shy about your things. Brownie! Jeff Brown's in the house. Okay, seriously, one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest challenges we have in thinking about how do you build your buzz and promote yourself is where is that line? Okay, where is that line that is, I'm too much of a blowhard, I'm too much tooting my own horn, to these are the specific facts. Find a few people that you can work with, your trusted advisors that will tell you, you know what, you're being too humble, or you're not showcasing the skills that you have enough. Your good friends or your good advisors will help you decide how do you promote your accomplishments in a way that people can hear them. Where do you put them on your website? I see a lot of websites that don't have all the accolades that people have accomplished. So we want to help you with those things. All right, ready? Because now we're going to go to the 10 steps to get into the spotlight. So flip over to the next page. For people at the other centers, it's step 3, assess your brand presence. I recommend you take a 3-month period to looking at your brand, looking at building your buzz, not a short term. You don't have this slide, but we're going to go through this of being strategic. What are you looking at? So you can go back and do this. I do this with speakers and authors and with business owners. Take a look at all these areas of, are you consistent? Are you consistently bold? Are you building your buzz in these places? Are you talking up? You talk about what is the most efficient way to do this. I think most of these are the most efficient ways to do this. And I'll just go through them fairly quickly. Take a look at your website. I see a lot of websites that don't put the 3 words you want to be known for somewhere on there. You don't get the feel that, you know what, he's really strategic. He's proven, he's reliable. It doesn't say that anywhere on somebody's website. I work with people that say, I want to do more speaking, and I can't find their speaker video anywhere on their website. It's buried. Or they sell books. I have a financial planning client that they are selling books, and they're like, well, why aren't my books selling? And I said, I can't find your book anywhere on a website, and I'm a fairly smart person. So if you're going to bury that and make it hard for me, I'm not going to know what you're known for. So your website is the first place to start with. I'd print out the sheets, unless your website is 25,000 pages long, print out the 5 sheets, post them up on the wall, walk away, come back and look at it and go, what does it look like I do? Is it clear to people? People make judgments like that. And to build your buzz, they've got to know what you stand for. Okay, speaker tab. This is a specific for people that are speakers, but are the topics clear? I can't stand big laundry lists of speaking topics. You can't speak on all those things. What are your top 5? What are the things that you want to be known for? Same with the book tab. You go into detail on that. Make it easy for people to buy the book. What's on there? Do you have a cover image? You know, is your bio easy to read? What does it say? Do you have endorsements? How many of you have LinkedIn endorsements? And do you show them all? Okay, good. Because some people don't have any LinkedIn endorsements. And I think that's an easy place to have 3 to 10. You don't have to have 300. You just have to have enough that it looks like you're plugged into how LinkedIn works. A blog can be a great way to build your buzz, to be known for your expertise. It's pretty easy to hire somebody to write a blog for you so that you're posting something once a month, every other week. It's a really nice place to get clear of what do you stand for, what are you known for. Look on the little sidebars that say, we're talking about those same topics. And I'm open for questions if you guys have any questions on these ones. Otherwise, I'll keep going. So LinkedIn, if you're a speaker or author, or you're the owner of the company, or you specialize in a certain area, say manufacturing, if you don't have those words in your title on LinkedIn, I think you're missing a lot of opportunity for people to know what find you when they're looking for something. So I recommend that people, if you're in a niche, business, insurance, you know, is that in your title, or do you just put the name of your company? You know, what would somebody be looking for that you could offer them? So I made sure to put books and speaker and promotion in my titles when somebody's thinking about looking for that coach, psychologist, trainer. What are they looking for? I like the use of video on LinkedIn. It's gotten a little crowded over there in LinkedIn, but you can put video in your profile so people can see what you're good at. So if you're doing a big event, pay to have somebody come and film that so you have some video that shows, hey, I pulled the best events together in the Twin Cities. What is it that we got? Amazon, we don't have to go into that kind of detail unless the people want book questions, but write a review. Actually, this is a good one. If you read a lot of books, write a review for whatever book you read, because your name goes up there. And then when that book pops up, you're one of the people that they click through, and you just never know. You never know where somebody's going to go, and they're going to click, and they're going to click again and go, oh, I found this guy. He had reviewed this book, and he had connected Jim back in the corner over there. He meets a lot of people through Meetup and through online, and it would be a good thing for you to do, to review a few books that you like and make sure your name gets discovered out there. Your email list, great way to build a buzz. How many people send out a weekly or monthly newsletter? Okay, so good for you guys that are sending it out. Take a look at the newsletter again. Is it branded in the right way? Does it have a clear sign up? Can I forward it on to a friend when I see content that I like? I love sending out my newsletter because usually the week after, I get a lot more signups. I get new people coming. I get people opting in to some of the freebies that I give away. What are those things that you can do with your email list? Building your buzz on Twitter and Facebook. And feel free now, centers and anyone here, post a picture of this event, tag other people. If you're going to use social media, please don't just be a lurker. Post something, share something. It would be like going to a sporting event and never cheering, okay? If you're going to be on these social medias, if you find something interesting, retweet it. Then somebody may find you and know what you're about. That's an efficient way to build buzz. If you don't have time for it, then don't do it. Don't do it halfway. Then hire somebody to do it. There are people in the room that know social media that can talk you through it. What about printed materials? Do you, if I laid your website and your email and your business card and your marketing materials out on a table, would they look the same? If it looks like something from 1990, something from the year 2000 and 2015, spend the money and make sure it looks consistent.
Can I ask a question while we're on printed material? Can you talk a little bit about the use of a one sheet?
For a speaker?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you repeat the question back?
Yeah, okay, so the question is, what is the use of a one sheet for a speaker, and how do I think they should use them, I guess? You have to have it digitally. And I think you should have a few printed copies of a one sheet when you speak, because you never know who's going to grab it as they leave the room and may not hire you then, but may put it in a file and keep it. And then I think on your one sheet is your picture, your topics, your testimonials and endorsements, your contact information.
I've seen some that are 2 or 3 pages long.
Nah. I'd give you 2 sides maybe. I have a big folder, binder, all of that. I think in today's day and age, it doesn't matter. In fact, I'll show you the one that I walked down the hall at the National Speakers Association. I was so excited. I had done a DVD. I had, it was die cut and fit in there, and a business card. And I go to hand it to this woman. She runs Andrea Gold Star Speakers in Arizona. And I'm so excited to hand it to her. This is a beautiful thing. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, I only want it digitally. Just send me the file. And I was like,
Oh, gosh.
okay, that was a big drag. But it made sense to me. So I think they want 1 page, maybe 2. Too much, let them find it on your website.
Hey, Cathy, we have a question at Union too that goes with this slide too.
Yep.
They're just wondering, as far as LinkedIn, do you see the significance with having endorsements, whether having too few, too many when you're looking at people's pages? Is there any importance to it?
Yes. So the question is importance of LinkedIn and endorsements. I think you want to have some. I think If I look at somebody and I see 5 from 3 years ago, but nothing new, I'd say refresh a little bit. If they have 300 or 100, I think you got to get something better to do. You're trying too hard. So I think that somewhere between 5 and 25. And if you can get some people that the way LinkedIn works when you do an endorsement is you pop up on their screen and they get to see you. So you want to give some endorsement. The way to get an endorsement is you go give some endorsements and say, here's what I enjoyed about this person, or working with them was great. And then they'll pop up there. So great question. All right. So why I do this as strategic brand message at the end is what will other people say? So I said, line all these things up, print them out, and then take a look at, is my strategic message clear? Those things we said at the beginning that you want to be known for, or that you're thinking you want to be known for, that things that make you unique, does it come through? And give yourself a score. So I see a lot of people when we start working with them, either they haven't built some of these pieces or they've neglected a few of them and their scores are in the 30s and 40s. And you know what? That's okay. That's just kind of what it is. And all you are doing when you're building your buzz is you're clarifying your message. You're going back over and over and saying, is it clear? Do people know what I stand for? If I called up 5 people in my network and said, what is it that OffiCenters does and that they offer? What would people say? And I think OffiCenters, you've done a really nice job saying we're about community, we're about great service, great locations, good connections. You've got some brand clarity as people go out and say, oh, it's a beautiful space. I never knew. This is great. Or now I do know, I'm telling my friends because it's so great. Okay, so go back at some point and rank yourself. I'm not going to have you guys rank yourself now because we got to go through all this.
Another big part of it together is you always got to constantly reinventing yourself. I mean, what might have been your message 2 years ago or 5 years ago? This has constantly needs to have a refresh.
Yes. So I actually like to do a check every 2 or 3 years with people to check in and say, either whether it's my past clients, how was that helpful? What can I do to you? Checking in with them to see what are they thinking about you. That's where you're really in control. And go check it out with people. They'll tell you what they think. So 2 or 3 years, yeah. If you haven't done any checking in on your business or your personal reputation, start asking, because as I say, you're top 25. And so Joe, we built out this whole product on networking as a contact sport. It was a 6-week module to help you develop your own network. I know that your top 25 network is who will tell other people about what you're doing. They will help you. They'll be your sales force. They're your referral sources. They're the people that know when they should be calling you. And they're the ones who will tell you, you know what? I didn't know you did that. So whenever if you hear that from somebody, they say, I didn't know you did that. You might have to do a little work to put that item in your newsletter so that they know what you do. I made your head hurt yet, Judy?
Explode.
Explode in a good way. In a good way. Okay, so your top 25 network. If you don't know who your top 25 network is to help you build your buzz, we can spend some more time on that in the Q&A. You want to know who's buzzing about you, who would talk about you, who would tell things. Here's why your network knows about you. LinkedIn, we're going to look into this one just sort of specifically so you can see how the scores work. When I look at this LinkedIn for Jake Gibbs, I'm like, okay, does he know that this picture is that little? And he does. He recently changed it, so I debated showing it to him, but I like this because if you have a picture like this, this says that, you know what, you don't really care. And LinkedIn is not a place right now in today's day and age that I think you can have a little teeny picture. And he says he's the founder at Legacy Frontiers. I don't know what that does. I don't know that he's a speaker. He shared the stage with Richard Branson. Okay. And I would never know that he's a speaker. So this was one of the first sort of things that we did and said, make this work a little bit harder for you. You know, I don't care about your connection number. I don't think that really matters so much. You could run a really great business and have 100 contacts. But you want to make sure you're doing something. Okay, Facebook. If you're using Facebook for business, does it carry out your brand? Does it look like your brand? So this is a woman that runs a coaching and strategy business and does a lot of marketing consulting and a lot of faith-based work. She has 4,000 likes because online her vibrant personality shows up the same way that it does when you're in the room with her. And people are drawn to that and they can tell. So if you have a Facebook page that does not align with your brand, take a look at that because that may be why you're not getting the likes on there or you're not making the connections. So if you're going to be on Facebook, plug in. I could talk for a while about the personal and professional part of Facebook, but it's getting kind of murky. So I don't think I want to go there right yet. Because I want to go into building the buzz with media. Okay, so Lori is kind of a big deal. We actually have, I think, 4 Minnesota Business Real Power 50 people in the room. Pam Borton was the first winner that I knew at the first awards event. Paul Jabe in the front row, who recently won, running the Heartland Investigative Group. And Lori Space won. One of the ways to build your buzz is with media. And you've got your last handout here is what can you do to build your buzz? How do you get media to actually pay attention to you, to write about you, or to tell other people? These are influencers. To me, media is an influencing place. So think about TV. If you have an area of expertise and you know that there's a reporter on TV that covers it, have you ever sent them your information? If you see something current in your news where you all of a sudden the thought pops in your head, you know what, I could speak on that. Call the reporter, call the producer. Sometimes all it takes is just asking to be out there. The same with print. If you have an article that maybe you want to write, Business Journal has guest articles. You could write an article on your expertise and be in there. Radio, they're always looking for guest people. So start thinking about how can I build some relationships with the media or hire an expert to help me get some more PR. Again, online, we covered some of those, but really your network, these ones down here, your network, word of mouth, social media, and bloggers, you can do all those just based on having a personality and being memorable. You could show yet another horrible trade show booth, you know, or something that says, here's mine, look at what we did, a before and after shot online, Amy, and people would want to see that on social media. You know,
Even Cathy, when you look at that, doesn't that look like something that came out of the magazine? Lee dropped that picture on the top of that. That is something that we just created at OffiCenter that we could create for any one of you. I mean, it doesn't always have to be that's how it came from the magazine or anything else. If you want to do something with a presence, we can make those types of things available for you to drop in with awards that you won or whatever it is. Those things can be created for you.
Yep. And so I looked, I was like, did she get that off of the Minnesota
No.
Business Magazine,
No,
or did
that
you
was
make that? You know, how did you do that? And it's a great icon that then she can use on Facebook, or she can put in LinkedIn so that people see it. And, you know, part of with awards or any PR is you have to ask. You have to put yourself out there, and you know what? You may get knocked down 9, 10, 11, 12 times, whatever. But you know what? The 13th one, when you actually get it and get that press, you had a best-selling book. Did you guys write a press release, Deirdre? I'm looking at you. Did you guys write a press release? She had an Amazon bestseller. You did write a press release, because I remember I saw your picture in the Business Journal.
For that, yes.
For that. Okay,
I
so
did something.
yes, you did. So that's great. That's awesome buzz
That
building.
I could have done more.
But you know what? This is just getting it as down as a system of how do you build your buzz. So, okay, so Lori, come on up here because you are kind of a big deal. So I only give this to the clients that I work with and special people who I like. So Lori peaked and she is kind of a big deal.
I saw this and I go, I want that
Yeah,
shirt.
she's kind of Cathy grabbing, but she's kind of a big deal. So now here's what I do is she has to take a picture in this shirt and send it back to me so that I can post it out to my network of you wearing the shirt. Okay, so there's a little bit of a thing, and if you want, you can hold this little notebook. If you guys don't have the notebook,
We don't need the notebook. We'll just, like I said, we'll put something else. That's
okay.
good though.
So
Yeah.
look, these guys are taking pictures here. So okay,
We get a
congratulations
picture.
to Lori.
Because you
the
know we
kind of
maximize
video.
the pictures, right? Anybody who attends.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know from the
Okay.
last time how we
This is
promote
not
all
my
these
wedding,
things.
okay?
One more picture.
Yes,
One
there
more
you
picture.
go.
Okay,
That's right.
these guys have more
I'll
work.
put it on.
Okay, go
Yeah.
put it on.
No, not tonight,
Okay.
not this minute, but I will.
Okay, so building your buzz. No, wait, what do you got?
Are you? Are we?
We're almost done. We're almost done. Sit back down. Take your shirt. Take your shirt. Okay. So now that you're back to your little pyramid here, because I haven't forced you yet to write down, make a traction plan. What's one thing you're going to do as you walk out of here to build your buzz? What is one thing that you could do to harness your power is the where do you reflect back? What could you do more of? Did you miss, maybe you missed an opportunity to take a picture somewhere. You know, Louisa's going, oh yeah. At her book launch, she was taking pictures with people. Take pictures with people. You can post that on Facebook. I have a guy who did the best book launch I have ever seen. He was so up to budget, you know, and maxed out that he didn't pay to have that launch filmed. And I know, you know, that's a mistake, but that's okay. So you reflect, what is it? So write down what's one thing you're going to do out of here to build your buzz. You've got 10 different ideas, or maybe you're just going to take the assessment and print everything out. That could be one of the things. Maybe you're going to call 1 or 2 reporters to talk to them. Look at somebody else's Facebook, and then what are you going to do to harness your power? Meaning, are you going to go back and look at it? Does anybody look to see who's looked at their or their LinkedIn group? Do you ever call the people? What do you do with that information? Don't have time? Okay, what do you do with the information, Judy, when you look at it? Do you do anything with it?
Yeah, oftentimes I will call
You
people.
call
Right, and instead of sounding like a stalker, usually what I say is something like, I was thinking about you.
them. Okay, yeah,
So
good.
I've had people call me and say, you know, I saw that you looked at something and it's kind of a freakish, it's kind of odd.
Yeah.
So I just say, I was thinking about you.
Okay, good. So I think that's some is to the harness your power is take a look at it and see what happens. So Lori and Paul and Pam, I'd be curious, have you gotten a lot of notes yet from people congratulating you for having won the award? It's great. You know, people are reaching out, they're reconnecting. That's why awards work, is ultimately that buzz is going to turn into broadening your network and building your group. So your final assignment is to set a goal for yourself of you're going to win your own award. I printed on envelopes because when I first started my business, I didn't have enough money to, you know, pay for a bazillion color copies. So I could print on an envelope, one color. I had like a million of these. And you could print on this. And what's your goal for your buzz? You want to meet 5 more people. You want to be featured in a publication. Maybe you want to win an award, and then put a specific date on there so that you can win that kind of a big deal certificate. And then I wanted to, so before I take questions, I wanted to also let you know I'm launching a program in May to teach people specifically how do they broaden their network? How do they build their buzz? So I have a small group of people that will work exclusively with me and with the people around the country that decide to come together so they can go through the coaching practice and learn and take advantage of the information and expertise that I've garnered over the past year. So if anybody's interested in hearing more about that program, it's going to start in May, and I have an application process for that. I would love to invite all of you to participate in that. Okay, so questions on buzzing?
I never heard the term one sheet before. Can you explain it a little better?
Yeah, so a one sheet is like a sales sheet, but it's specifically for speakers. They call it a one sheet of like, what's your bio? What's your information on you? I probably have one I can show you that shows your photo, your topics.
Why do they call it one instead of just bio?
It's a one sheet. It's a one sheet.
I don't know, don't they call it a
It's the one
C,
sheet.
like they call it your CV and your resume? I don't know why they call it that. They just call it a one sheet.
Modeling
Okay.
history, actually.
Does it come from modeling?
With their headshots and their.
Okay.
and their-
Oh. What's that?
It's a one sheet, not a three sheet. It's a one sheet.
So, how important is it to be eccentric, or like, obviously Harvey McKay had Swim with the Sharks, with the title
Did
on
those things.
huge compared to what,
Oh, that's
you
bad.
mentioned it was going to be. So how important is that uniqueness, the catch, what makes some of these stars so popular is that they're quirky in some way. How does that relate to building a buzz, or just title and
Yeah.
positioning?
So I think to Amy's question of how do you be efficient, like I lump efficient, quirky, memorable, unique all together in that how is somebody going to remember you? So they're going to walk out of there and may not remember the name of the speaker or the company, but they're going to remember, I took that 10-point assessment. Or that was a really clever way of explaining something, or they may remember that. So I think it's important to having people know how to anchor in their mind what it is. I don't think you want to be clever just for clever's sake. And as you're trying to build your brand, the more you can have something that actually makes sense with people where they can see the value.
So really creating those anchors, whether it's a visual anchor, a message, color, whatever, just something that relates back to you.
And then I always, that's why I say to line all your materials up. What I see with a lot of companies is I can see sort of the herky-jerkiness of their attention to their brand when I lay it all out. And you want it all to look consistent, because to me, when it's consistent, it means they care. It means they're credible. It means they're confident in what it is they're doing. All those things that when you walk in somewhere and they hand you 7 different sheets, I'm like, why does it look like this? Different taglines. I mean, we had this with our client in India of she has 17 different taglines and sort of hadn't noticed it. And that was the first thing I said was, okay, we got to clean some of this up so people can see what you stand for. What else? Any of the centers?
Nothing so far.
Not quite yet. Any questions from anybody viewing?
Otherwise, I'm going to have to hear goals because I have a few prizes to give to people. Anyone want to share what their goal is? There may be somebody in the room that wants to help you reach your goal. Mel,
No sharers here?
you got a goal? No sharers?
So one of my goals in the next 5 years is to become more of an expert in creativity and do more instructing and training in that.
Excellent. And so,
We just had a wow session with you, Kevin, and it was great, so. Was.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the ways to do that, does Lori can Lori endorse you for that and give you a testimonial that will go on your website as he ran a workshop for us?
You're gonna do lunch
To do that.
aren't you?
Yes.
Yep, so great, awesome. All right, here you go, little networking cards. Thank you. Lot of applause for going through guys. Okay, anybody else want to share your goal? You said 5 years, so I want to see the 5 years written on the envelope. 5 years, I want to be an expert in creativity, and maybe some specifics. I would like to speak 4 times a year on creativity. More specific you could be, the better. Nobody else? All right.
You know,
What?
I want to expand on my knowledge of that people think of me as trade shows. When in reality, it's actually live events.
Right.
Okay.
So that's great. So just even telling me that in this room, so Amy wants to be known more for live events. So one thing you might be able to do is to post out a blog on there on that. How can you use this for live events so that your whole network in your email knows?
That what I offer is
Yeah.
goes way beyond.
Yeah, show them some applications of how does it work. So when I did this live event where we had stations set up of all the materials, it was really amazing for the company because it reinforced their messages in so much of a unique way. Or sending something to event planners so that they know they could use you during live events. Right. All right, well, that's all I've got.
We actually have
what-
one here.
okay.
Lee actually said that she wants to not lurk on Facebook anymore, but start sharing more and posting more.
Okay. So she wants anti-lurking tips?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, all right, Lee.
Well, that's funny.
How do you not lurk on Facebook? So first step, I'm gonna take my phone, we're gonna do a demonstration.
You're still going to switch to Instagram.
To Instagram? No, I think part of not lurking is just knowing you may make a couple mistakes. Is knowing that you can like something and you know what, worst case scenario, you unlike it. If you change your mind, I didn't really like that. Or you post a comment about something, say what you're thinking. What a cute picture on Facebook. I really like that. Or wow, congratulations. I didn't know you just spoke at that organization. And my rule, Lee, to stop lurking is always say something nice, say something about somebody else. See if you can share promoting yourself to promoting others in a 4-to-1 ratio. So that you're not just me, but you're saying, here's what I like once, and then you're sharing 4 things of somebody else, what they're doing, that you're sharing other things. So part of not lurking is just to start. Anybody else in the group have any tips? I know exactly that feeling of, should I push the button and say something or should I just wait? Anybody have any ideas for her?
I think too, we filled out a lot of these envelopes over the years, Cathy. And then there's some of them that just don't get to fruition. And I think that now we're in a mode where we can go again.
Yep.
We want to start an e-commerce site for all the virtual OffiCenter clients where we can all sell and share together. There's more that's going to go on with the directory. We would like to have a exhibition or some type of a small business type of a fair. And how are we going to do that as a group? And that's the thing that I'm really excited about right now is how we're going to work together to promote our businesses together. That's the fun part of what we want to do. Not as focused on office centers and virtual office centers, but the community and how we're going to build community.
Right. And so like maybe one of the ways for Lee to help too is to ask the Office Center community. On Facebook, there's a button where you can make a survey. What are you interested in?
Right.
To ask people.
We got that
I still don't get a lot more posts on anything. I just posted my dad's 82nd birthday photo on there. I had like 25 likes on it. And anything with a dog, you get a lot of posts on it.
I think regarding to social media as well, you're going to be a lot harder on yourself and your business than anyone else is. So just putting yourself out there is just the first step in getting recognition. And then you become more comfortable with yourself and your business, and it's easier to continue to post things and repost things and share and tweet as well.
That's a great point. Yeah, to get out, to me at least, to get over the lurking is, I start and I try to be genuine. I'm pretty, what you see is what you get. So that's a good thing.
And you have kind of touched on the fact that there's a difference between your personal Facebook profile with all your family and friends and then when you professionally. We don't have to get into it if you don't want to, but obviously there's always that blend. Do you just merge them together and they are what they are, or do you try to keep yourself?
I thought that LinkedIn was hard. I'm having a hard time on Facebook deciding what to do because I have way more people on my personal than I do on my professional. And I know that most people don't want more professional, things that they like and things that they support. But every time I post something professionally on my Facebook, my sister calls me and says, I'm about to mute you, or whatever the term is. She's like, if you tell me about one more book to buy, I'm going to mute you. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the right balance is.
Yeah, that's hard.
I
think the biggest thing with that, I mean, I've used Facebook for a lot of business generation, and I think the biggest thing with that is just being yourself. You can't be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
And if people know what you do and how you can add value for them, I've kind of taken social media hiatus, and it's actually helped productivity go up. But now I'm having people inbox me saying, hey, what are you up to these days? And asking questions because I'm not blowing up their timeline 24/7
Right.
like I used to. So it's a fun dynamic, but ultimately, with the people on Facebook know what you do. And if they're interested, and you can just provide just enough value, it may lead to further conversation off.
Awesome.
I have found, I'm just diving into the social media thing a little bit more, but spending more time, I spend more time on LinkedIn because it's more business, it's more executives than Facebook. There's different clientele, whether you're trying to get business or really what your expertise is. I spend more time in LinkedIn, and there's a different group of people on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Different level. Depends on what your purpose is.
That's part of that's good.
So I've kept them separate, very separate.
So you don't have a business Facebook?
I can't have a Twitter and a LinkedIn and a personal Facebook and business Facebook. I wouldn't get anything done. So I don't have a business Facebook. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. Then I might have one like on it. Wait, I'm talking about my own.
Right.
Personal. Team women.
Team women.
I got 3 organizations, so yeah.
All right, well, thank you everybody for coming. Thanks to Lauren for hosting.
Okay, just a quick